What's the deal, everybody? Thanks for tapping back in with your boy Savage. Much love, much respect every time you get it in with me. I promised you guys a video the other day. Man, it's been crazy, man. A lot of things been going on good, so I've been a little busy, man. However, I do want to say that I'm making a video today about being incarcerated during these times. It's a lot more tricky than you think. Obviously, you know, things have been affected on the streets, nursing homes, hospitals, etc., even grocery stores and the such. So obviously it would trickle down to the court system, to jail system, to the probation system. So we're going to get into that today. And before we do, I'm going to ask you guys, go ahead and smash that like button. If not, go ahead and smash that thumbs down button. It really does not make any difference to me. This time I'm going to go ahead and do you guys a solid. I'm going to open up the comment section for you guys because I actually really want you guys to get it off your chest. I think you guys need to clear your chest. And at the end of the day, you deserve the right to have a little fun. So I want to give the most crucial comment, the most disrespectful, dirtiest comment that I see. It's got to be a little funny though. I will pin it. I will pin it to the top of the comment section and leave it there, but it has to be funny. Now, the amount of disrespect that it can have in order to be pinned, obviously we don't want to see a bunch of you know, cuss words and the such, but I'm sure you can find a whole bunch of funny things to say aside that. So the funniest one gets pinned to the top. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's get right into the video and let's get down to business, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious, and I can't lie, before I got busted, I was curious. I was curious what the whole process was like of being in jail, and we'll even talk about what West Valley County Jail is actually like now. West Valley Detention Center is actually like now during coronavirus, because it's not what you guys would think. It's not what it was in 2008, and that applies to everything from deputies to the process of booking to what inmates are like, what the politics are like on both sides. Maybe that might be a video for tomorrow, I don't know. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and stick to the script here. The script being, we are going to be talking about the pandemic and doing time. Are conditions sanitary? Are conditions safe? What's going on with the court system? If anyone has any loved ones in the court system, it's time we talk about it, man. It's time we get this out there, because I know when I was busted, me and the fellas, man, we were, this is one, you know, general complaint that we had was how it doesn't really seem, how the current situation isn't really being taken into account by maybe we'll say district attorneys and the such, but to some they get deals, to some they don't. So first thing first, getting booked into county jail, it's relatively the same, except for how fast it went this time. I remember last time, man, it was really an all-day process. Now, don't get me wrong, it took us about 4 or 5 hours before it was all said and done and we were off to our units. You go through the booking, you get in there with the phone call, you get to call bail places, you get to call your loved ones, figure out if you can afford to be bailed out, figure out if you want to get a lawyer, and go on to the next pod, right? Once you go to the next pod, let's say you're there for dinner, they feed you dinner, they feed you lunch, they feed you chow, whatever the case is at the time that you're there, they move you on to go get changed out into your clothes, you know, into your scrubs. So after that, you go into the shower, take your clothes off. They give you the you know, the new old stuff. You know, right now they're not even selling shoes in there. They give you these like weird see-through orange slippers, and they put you in there. They classify you, and then they send you off. Then you get a court date. Now, this is what's different about the pandemic as opposed to what it used to be. The courts barely opened up. So before the courts opened up, when everything shut down, when all the courts closed due to the pandemic, people were waiting 60 to 90 days for a court date, just to be told that they either were scratched, just to be told that they needed to waive time because the district attorney was unable or not ready, and those were being granted. So you had people that were, let's say, they got arraigned on a Monday. Naturally, they'd have a preliminary hearing or a pre-preliminary hearing or something of the sort coming up within a week or two, right? I think you have 10 days to 15 days to a preliminary after arraignment. Well, that no longer was the case. So you had these guys coming in and they knew their case could be wrapped up simple, but now they had to wait 60 to 90 days to go to that first preliminary to get the offer that they knew they'd get or have the charges either dismissed, beat, or dropped. That alone was causing a lot of tensions. Obviously, visits are still closed in county jail. Visits were never too great there. I think you could get them like 4 to 5 days tops out of the week for 15 to 20 minutes behind glass. Those were taken away. So visits are gone. You know, visits aren't showing any signs of coming back. That automatically makes the environment a lot more tense. I think that's why deputies are a lot cooler in there now. I'm not sure. There's a lot of younger cats. It's like a whole new generation of deputies in West Valley, and they're all cool. They're all more patient, understanding. They're not really trying to abuse inmates. Could that do with the fact that there's a lot of cameras now, even in each individual pod? It could. And those cameras can catch anything and fly on the wall. Or can it be to the fact it's just another generation, a younger generation, a smarter generation with cooler heads? Possibly so. Either way, got to keep it real. You know your boy Savage. I can't get on there and speak some facts, some false lies. I got to speak the facts about how these deputies are being, man, and they're straight. They're straight, man. They ain't trying to be out there breaking no one's arms and chicken wing. No one even knows what a chicken wing is. If you've done time in West Valley from 08 and on up until right now, you probably do know what a chicken wing is. You know, that was the house of the chicken wings. That's when they would bend your arms up so far behind your back, both of them. They'd be making you, you know, bark like a little chicken, you know, scream like a little chicken. You know, that's what the chicken wing came from. They don't do that no more. I didn't see one. I saw a bunch of inmates who were getting crazy with deps, you know, getting crazy with cops. And at the end of the day, it got them nothing. They didn't get abused. They didn't get hit. They didn't get attacked, but they would get write-ups, you know. So things are handled a little more professionally, I would say, a little more peacefully. And I do think that a lot of inmates are taking advantage of that because they don't know any better. You know, they're just barely coming in. And the unit that I was in, there was, you know, when you've been to prison, you have a serious prior like that. You know, they will put you in cells. They won't put you in dorms. They'll put you in cells, and the cells carry the dudes who are facing a lot of prison time. There was guys there that had been in that county jail for 7 years, 4 years, you know, facing 20-something years still. You know, I could not understand or fathom how they could do that much time in the county jail. Not being provided soap, not being provided disinfectant, not being provided the necessary tools to clean and keep yourself, you know, sanitary. You know, it was horrible for me. I didn't like it. I couldn't stand it. The pod I was in just had some inmate a couple cells down who actually had coronavirus, and the whole pod was quarantined. And every other pod was like stuck on lockdown because they were having inmates who had coronavirus. A cop in the bubble ended up having to go on leave because she caught coronavirus. So at the end of the day, it was prevalent in the jail system, and it, like I said, it was Russian roulette. You wake up and you're not sure because you go to court, you share the same chains, the same shackles, the same holding tanks, filthy, dirty holding tanks. Ain't no such thing as social distancing in jail. So if you assumed, or if you thought that when it came down to the, let's just say, disease prevention part, and you thought basically what I'm saying, you assume that much, you're right. You know, you are right. Situation is very grim for battling coronavirus. It's almost as if no one really cares if the inmates catch it or don't. But we knew that, right? We knew that was going to be the case. Now let's talk about the situation of going to court and getting a deal. Right now, for the most part, you can get a good deal. Right now, for the most part, the district attorneys want to throw a lot of cases out, at least cases that are not worthy of being inside jail right now, because no matter what, prisons are backed up, reception is backed up. You get to reception, you're going to be doing at least a 2-week quarantine before you even get seen by anybody. But the good thing is they're kicking people out of reception quick if you do make it up there. However, you have people signing deals to go upstate, and they're waiting 4, 5, sometimes 6, 7 months to catch the chain. You know that's unheard of. And don't you think you can sign forthwith, meaning that you signed that day and you're on the bus in a week or two. They stopped doing that due to the pandemic. Courts are shut down. Never in my life up until now did I ever go to a virtual court date. I'm talking about a screen with my lawyer, the district attorney, and the judge. Not every court date was like that, but my very first court date, not the arraignment. Arraignment was done through video court, but they actually have a spot at West Valley. You go upstairs. It's by the room that they bring people in to point people out on that line. It's right down the hall from that. And you go in there and there's a screen. You see your lawyer, you see the DA, and you see the judge, and you have a full-on virtual court date. That's because although the courts are open up, they still don't let people in the actual courtroom. They still don't let your family come. They still kind of want to just get everyone in and get everyone out. And when the case is not a big case, when the situation is not felonious, right? If there's not a felony involved with the matter, they are not going to drag it out. They don't want to drag it out. But if they got you deadbeat, don't think, hey, I'm going to go to the box and I'm going to take it straight to the box and I'm going to get the deal I want. If they got you deadpan, they can still zero in on you and do you that way. But for the most part, court systems are offering a lot better deals. Now, the probation side of things. I know Riverside County is talking about suspending certain type of probation things. I'm not sure what they got going on, but Riverside got hit a lot harder than San Bernardino County. San Bernardino County is still a little more on the stubborn side of things, but you can tell that they are doing their best, because you got to think, you got Rancho, you got San Bernardino, you got Morongo, you got who knows, you got so many more. I can't even go through the whole list with you guys. I'm not even gonna pretend like I can. But all of San Bernardino County, you got all the judges, the courts. And so as an inmate, you're sitting there wondering, like, man, I want the courts to close back down again. Yeah, it's going to drag it out. It's going to drag out the process. But let me tell you, when you finally do get back to a court date within 60 to 90 days, if your case isn't that severe, if your case isn't that serious, and especially if they don't have that whole, deadlock evidence against you, you're going to get the deal you want. You're going to get released most likely. 10-day flashes are in effect. I was watching people violate felony probation come in. Usually you do 180 days for that. And they were getting slapped on the wrist. Some guys weren't even going to court for the first 35 days of them being there for a violation. Due process violation, they're gone. I almost had my due process violated just waiting to be arraigned. So I almost had the case thrown out. So the situation is kind of beneficial, but it's hard because you got to be committed if the courts close down again, which could be at any moment, to doing some serious waiting just to fight your case, just to hear a preliminary. You could be doing some serious waiting. Now, the environment inside of jail, as far as inmates go, there's a lot of things I learned in jail with how things are, with how things are running. The cells, obviously, they're the program there. They're popping out quarter tiers, so the way it's supposed to be, they're doing 4 sections, right, of the tiers. It's two tiers, 4 cells here, 4 cells here, 4 cells here, 4 cells here, something along those lines, right? And you get 4 hours each now because of the pandemic. So I guess that's a plus. And the good thing about being in the cells is the doors are so easy to pop. We all had our cell doors rigged. So we all, as soon as we would see the bubble is turned around facing another pod, boom, pop your door real quick, close it, boom, you're out there chilling with the day room that you're not supposed to be with. So we all found ways to kind of keep things light and keep things positive, but there was a lot of negativity in the pod. There always is a lot of negativity, especially in strained times like this, trying times like this. People are fighting a lot of cases. People can't even sign a deal and go to prison to get out of that place right now. People are stuck. That is how it's going on in West Valley. They give you a face mask. You're expected to wear your face mask. Nobody wears their face mask. Nobody wears their face mask. It's almost like an acceptance. Like, as soon as I walked in the pod, literally everyone was at day room, right? Banging. Where you from, G? They call me this, they call me this. Where you from? Shaking hands, shaking hands. Before you know it, you get to the cell and you're like, damn, I messed up. I told myself I was going to keep myself kind of under some quarantine program, kind of social distance. Went right out the window. That's the kind of frame of mind people have. Do people think it's real? Do people not? We read the news. Like, ain't nobody dumb. But at the end of the day, cops are protected. We're not. The cops don't spend all day long in those pods. The cops don't have to sleep next to those people. There literally was an inmate who got a cellie. He just barely arrives. Cellie's a little off. Starts cutting himself. I'm gone all day. I'm gone all day. I come back from court. I'm walking up the stairs to go to my cell. As I pass my cell, I look into the window of a cell next to mine, and there's blood all over the window. They take that inmate to suicide watch, and he's gone. They leave his cellmate with the blood on that window all day long. The inmate finally wakes up and says, hey, man, what do I do about this? The cop says, well, I can give you some gloves, some soap and some gloves. That could be a potentially very hazardous situation, man. That could be a that dude could have had HIV. I tell you this story not to smut up the officer and hit whatever he's got going on. I tell you this story for the simple fact, when it comes down to sanitary conditions, we have nothing coming in there. That man was told that he could clean up the next man's blood. That's their job. They got squads, they got suits they can put on, they got disinfected at their leisure. We don't. He was offered soap. So I would just say this: if you have a loved one that's incarcerated, you got some family that's incarcerated, do your best. Do your best to help support him morally or mentally if you can't do nothing else. If you can afford to bail him out, bail his ass out. If you can afford to get him a lawyer, get his ass a lawyer. But if you can't do none of the others, at least give him moral support, because we still can access phones and we can still write letters. They don't provide paper. You got to buy that. You'll be charged for the envelopes if you get those envelopes from your welfare pack. And it's the same thing. You can't even get soap unless you get it from your welfare bag. The store, you don't even get to individually pick out your store. Soups are $1.25 per soup. Everything you order is all pre-ordered packages. And now they got this cute little device that's up against the wall. It's called a kiosk, and it's just a tablet, right? And you can check your court date, you can order books, you can order a Bible. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't get a book, I couldn't get a Bible to save my life. I couldn't get no type of reading material from this kiosk. I couldn't release my property. They won't even let people come pick up your property. So if you got rent in your wallet, whoever is at the house with you is pretty much screwed. They're shit out of luck. That's the truth. West Valley is a very stubborn jail still with how it's operating, with opening things up for inmates, as far as visits, as far as, you know, other things that maybe other jails are already probably doing. West Valley County Jail is not doing that. So if you got family doing time there, just know it's not an easy ride. It's not a great situation. We're all trying to do the best we can to get in and get the hell up out of there. But I just wanted to give you guys a brief synopsis of what it was like, my take on it. It was very dirty, very dingy, very dangerous. You know, that didn't change. But the environment there, as far as deputies, that did change. And the court systems, you know, now you guys know firsthand. Now you guys got it right from the horse's mouth, man. At the end of the day, you don't go to jail. If you don't like the conditions, don't go to jail. Don't be there. Don't put yourself in a position. And if you're innocent, I feel your pain. If you're innocent, if you're set up, if something's going on out of your control, ride it out, man. The people who love you most, the people who are in your circle, will not leave you. And if they do leave you, look for God, because he won't leave you. At the end of the day, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more heat coming. Much love, much respect. Doses. So you take the no visits, and then you throw in this. Breakfast, sack lunch. Your lunch, sometimes you get a hot tray. Sometimes. And dinner, another sack lunch. So that's the way. And let me tell you, lunch, you know, when you're in the pen, you get 4 slices of bread. And whatever comes, the peanut butter or the bologna, you get 2 slices here. You don't get the 4 slices. So you mix those two, it's a pretty screwed up situation.